Alien Workshop is one of the most unique skateboard brands of all time. Launched in 1990, Alien became known for their strange graphics, off-the-wall style, and game-changing skate videos. They were the first company outside of California to ever rise to the top, and they were the first company to create an image through their graphics. All of today's skateboard graphics are directly influenced by the style they pioneered. But when it comes to Alien Workshop, that's all most people know. They don't know their story, their origins. And before researching this video, I was in the same boat. Turns out, Alien Workshop's existence as a company has been everything but smooth sailing. In particular, their humble beginnings, and that one time, they almost had to shut down forever. So how did they survive? Today, we'll explore the rise and fall, and rise again, of Alien Workshop, title inspired by Company Man. By 1996, mainstream America had become infatuated with alien imagery, and Alien Workshop experienced both record sales and record copyright infringements. Because of this, demand for Alien Workshop products far surpassed production capacity. They were selling skateboards and clothing hand over fist. People wanted it so bad, the factories couldn't keep up. But it wasn't always this way. When they started out, it was the opposite. No one cared and no one bought their stuff. It more or less started out as a passion project between three friends. The story of Alien Workshop begins in Dayton, Ohio, where we meet our first two characters, Chris Carter and Mike Hill. These two friends, who love skateboarding more than anything else, decide, hey, we should move to California. Everything important happening in skating happens there. We gotta at least try it. So Chris and Mike pull up stakes in Ohio and move out to California. This is around the tail end of the 80s, almost in the 90s. Once they arrive in California, Mike gets a job working in the art department at GNS Skateboards. Chris follows suit and, thanks to Mike's recommendation, became the team manager for GNS. Now, both working for GNS, Chris and Mike began immersing themselves in the California skate industry, and they loved it at first. During this time, Neil Blender was a pro skater for GNS. He was known for creating his own style through homemade/hand-drawn skate graphics, which at the time was pretty much inconceivable. Neil, Chris, and Mike ended up touring together through working at GNS, and the three became great friends. Their typical routine was skate all day, sleep, then skate all day the next day, and so on. But one summer, everything changed in a big way. On a long drive, Chris, Mike, and Neil began discussing the possibility of starting a company together. At this point, they'd all grown tired of the intense influence of the California skate industry and wanted to break away from it to do their own thing. They also loved discussing aliens and different conspiracy theories. At the end of the drive, they made up their mind. They'd ditch California to start a new brand, free from the pressures of the industry. In 1990, Chris, Mike, and Neil moved back to Ohio with the intentions of starting Alien Workshop. Now's also a good time to mention that despite his heavy involvement in the beginning, Neil never owned any part of the company. He said he knew the risks of running a company, and that's just not what he wanted. In October 1990, Alien Workshop was officially launched. Chris Carter, Mike Hill, and a random investor who they later bought out, named Jimmy George, founded Alien Workshop with an initial investment of $26,000. But once you adjust for inflation, it's about $56,000 today. For their name, they took inspiration from one of their eccentric friends who was really into conspiracy theories, just like themselves. He claimed the US stealth bomber planes are actually made in an alien workshop. Chris and Mike liked his story so much, they named the whole brand after it. For the logo, they drew inspiration from two places. When the brand was just an idea, they'd meet at Denny's to discuss it. So of course, Mike took inspiration from the Denny's logo, as he designed the eventual Alien Workshop logo. But he also pulled inspiration from the Marathon Gas logo. He combined the two icons in his mind, went home, and drew the Alien Workshop logo in his basement. He used this weird process where he'd shine a light through a piece of paper and trace the shadows. There's rumors that if you turn the logo sideways, it says Neil B, but it's yet to be confirmed if that's on purpose or not. The early days of Alien Workshop were rough, to put it light. That's because they wanted to start a company that operated on its own terms and didn't look or feel like any other skateboard company that was or had been in existence. But that made things super hard. almost impossible. They had very little press, no catalogs, and made it deliberately hard for people to obtain information on the brand. Their early ads were so obscure, people couldn't even tell they were a skateboard brand. But founder Mike Hill says this worked to their advantage. The strange ads allowed for something that's hard to achieve today: imagination. People use their imagination to fill in the gaps around Alien Workshop. Too much information kills imagination. Mike says people have always read into the graphics, like there were hidden messages built in some of the logos, which he says made for interesting dialogue. During their first few years as a company, Chris Carter had to get a part-time job just to keep Alien Workshop alive. But in a matter of time, that all changed. In the early to mid 90s, Alien began forming their team, and the first big names who joined them were Dwayne Petrie and Rob Dyrdek. You know, that guy from MTV? But Rob Dyrdek wasn't always worth $15 million. At one point, he was worth just $2. In Christmas 1991, he sold one board with his name on it and received a royalty check from Alien Workshop for $2, and he had to cash it. He was that broke. So of course, he jumped at the opportunity when Alien offered him $1,000 a month if he moved out to California right now. But we'll get back to Rob in just a second, because it turns out he's a hero, and I'm completely serious. Over the years, Alien released legendary skate videos such as Memory Screen and Timecode, the videos that more or less put them on the map. These videos pushed skating to the next level and are still universally loved to this day. They embody a certain feeling that's impossible to replicate today. In terms of their team, Alien had some of the coolest skaters of all time. Just to name a few, they had Jason Dill, Bo Turner, Heath Kirchart, Ave, Dylan Reeder, and Steve Barra, absolute legends of the industry. The success of the Alien graphics came gradually. It started out as a cult following, but then developed into a trendy nightmare, according to Mike. The shirts became really popular with ravers, which was the last thing Alien Workshop was about. A bunch of overly social people dancing to techno while dressed up in costumes, and they didn't like it. One day, a shop account called Mike and told him Madonna had just been in their store and purchased an Alien Workshop tee. The shop owner was all excited and thought they should be too, but Mike wasn't having it. He became angry and told them they should have denied her. He says this happens to bands all the time. The people who drove you away to the point of making something yourself out of frustration end up your customers. Throughout the 1990s, Alien continued to grow. They expanded their team, product selection, and streamlined operations. Business was so good, they started another brand under the Alien umbrella called Habitat Skateboards in 1999, which is still operating and successful to this day. But in 2000, everything changed. Most skaters will know what this is before I even reveal it. In 2000, Alien released this orange VHS tape called Photosynthesis, and many regard it as one of the greatest skate videos of all time that changed skateboarding forever. As the 2000s wore on, the skateboard industry grew bigger and bigger, and so did Alien Workshop. But when it really came down to it, they were still super small compared to the big companies at the time. So in 2008, they did something about that. In a move that shocked the skate world, Alien Workshop was bought out. On February 5th, 2008, none other than Burton purchases Alien Workshop for an undisclosed amount of money. The founders said that while they wanted to stay independent, working with Burton allowed them to do bigger and better things, such as their collaborations with Andy Warhol and Keith Haring, which sell for a boatload now. But looking back, it's hard to determine if that was a good decision. You'll see what I mean in just a second. In 2012, things became even more complicated. But this time, it seemed like a positive change. Rob Dyrdek, now super rich, or at least rich enough to buy Alien Workshop, buys Alien Workshop, which on paper sounds awesome. Alien is now once again in the hands of a skateboarder who deeply cares about the company. Right? Well, sort of. So 20 months after buying Alien Workshop, Rob decides to sell it to a company called Pacific Vector Holdings for some reason. So it's safe to assume Alien wasn't doing well as a company if Rob felt the need to sell it off. But this move sent Alien Workshop into the abyss. At this point, they were still operating and being a company, but team writers Jason Dill and Ave decided to part ways with Alien Workshop after writing for them for years. These guys were the foundation of the brand and spent over a decade helping them build it from the ground up. So after this, Alien was in big trouble. The brand was imploding on itself. And what's terrible is, that's not the worst part. On top of all their team writers leaving, Pacific Vector Holdings, the company Rob sold them to, went under. It came out that the company was $7 million in debt and therefore had to cut all spending, which included Alien Workshop. So almost instantly, Alien Workshop disappeared. They were gone. A ghost. But in the following years, Rob Dyrdek swoops in out of nowhere and somehow buys back Alien Workshop. From here, he does the coolest business move I've ever seen. He decides to give Alien Workshop back to its original owners. And I know some people in the skate industry don't like Rob, but you gotta admit, that was super sweet of him. So you must be wondering, what does Alien Workshop look like now? Well, their current headquarters is located right outside of Dayton, Ohio, in a decommissioned nuclear bunker facility. It's now back in the proper hands and getting the love and care it deserves. They're fully operational as a company, putting out products and staying relevant in the skateboard industry. Considering all they went through, I can't imagine a happier ending for them. But what do you think? How do you feel about Alien Workshop and their current standing within the skate industry? And where do you think they'll be in 10 years? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, all I ask is that you slap the like button and make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a future upload. Thank you so much for watching and check out this next video. I'll see you soon.